Hi everyone and welcome to my BCM215 podcast for the final piece of my digital artifact. As stated in the blog post, I'll be speaking about France's case study as well as the gamifications and dimensions of video game effects. And finally, I will address Douglas Gentile's journals. So the overuse of online games is known to be inversely related to various indicators of well-being. Internet gaming disorder, also known as IGD, has links with the 5 indicators of personal well-being. These include satisfaction, loneliness, anxiety, depression, and academic performance. This scale appeared to be an appropriate measure to assess video game addiction in France. Although it is a small step, it is an important step which will contribute to increase the comparability of international research on video game addiction. These empirical studies have led scientists and clinicians to wonder whether intense engagement with video games over a sustained period of time could be associated with psychological and social problems. This question maintains the idea that time management when participating in gameplay is of utmost importance and could be the difference between healthy and harmful gaming. Video game addiction is the popular term, however researchers have used various terminologies such as compulsive internet use, pathological game use, game addiction, or problematic video game playing to address the same phenomenon. This French study is particularly interesting. A total of 1,217 people were recruited through the internet's online forums or approached at the university to participate. Although the final sample was only composed of 693 players, mostly males with a mean age of 22 years old, the DSM-5 is an important advancement towards a unified definition of IGD. In short, it composes of preoccupation, withdrawal, tolerance, persistence, escape, problems, deception, displacement, and conflict. So in order to diagnose IGD on a pathological level, the DSM proposes at least 5 of these 9 criteria must be present for 12 months. Each indicator was measured on a scale from preferences such as totally disagree to totally agree. The study examined socio-demographics and included procedure, exploratory factor analysis, confirmatory factor analysis, cross-validation of reliability, and concurrent validity. The primary aim of the study was to evaluate the validity and reliability of items reflecting specific criteria and the links between IGD and various well-being measures. The results were consistent with other studies in alternative populations, and although limitations did exist in the study, results showed that DSM criteria have good diagnostic accuracy, succeeding in discriminating addicted people from non-addicted people. Existing research suggests that there are 5 dimensions on which video games can affect players. They include the amount of play, the content of play, the game context, the structure of the game, and the mechanics of the gameplay. But many people in the past have been vocal critics about what they think to be the cause of violence, many of whom don't understand these 5 dimensions. And now a disbarred lawyer wrote to a mother of a CEO of a video game company stating, "The recent plethora of cop killings is caused in part by your son's entrepreneurial energy. There are 3 policemen dead in Alabama because of Grand Theft Auto." There is also the complete opposing side. President of Entertainment Software Association said in a televised 2004 interview, "Researchers have come with a preconceived notion, trying to prove that video games are harmful. They have looked at their literature and said there is absolutely no evidence." So now to take a look into Douglas Gentile's journal on the evolution of scientific skepticism in the media violence debate. He observes bias and unbiased research, the viewpoints and interpretations of researchers, and how they can have colossal influence over public attitude and opinion. The debate about media violence effects is not a matter of who is right or wrong. People of good conscience will naturally disagree about what level of outcome is worth caring about. The problem comes when we do not recognise that researchers approach the topic from these differing frames. This problem is exacerbated by mass media that clumsily interpret research solely within the context of finding the solitary cause of a tragic school shooting. There are multiple reasonable views, but the theories and data of media violence have evolved over the past 60 years, and so too should skeptical stances. Gentile's debate is extremely interesting and informative, and it makes you think about the portrayal of violence and video games and mental health and the apparent correlation in the media, most of which is backed up by evidence, but some of it a simple scapegoat and a product of fake news. The irony is that both the critics and proponents are correct about the effects that games can have. The flaw is that they extend their arguments to conclude that video games are ultimately harmful or beneficial. Gentile realizes that we have no choice but to recognize that games have effects on multiple dimensions and can even have both positive and negative effects at the same time. So the debate continues, but thank you for tuning in to the final segment of this DA. I hope you've enjoyed listening. See you later.